Welcome. It is mid-April, believe it or not. I can't believe it. But yeah, we're here today to talk about peak season prep, talking about websites and booking engine in particular. Some of this stuff, should be stuff that people already go through. So you might have heard it before, you might already do it. My goal in each webinar is to give everybody at least one takeaway. So hopefully everybody has at least one takeaway that they can get from this. So yeah, optimizing your booking engine for more bookings. Just to introduce myself a little bit, we've been around since 2005. Our focus is working with small to medium size independent lodging properties in the US and Canada primarily. We do service some other countries as well, but that's kind of our focus. We work with them for their success. So our customer success is our number one priority. I think we're at 23 employees with over 100 years combined experience. We provide software, websites, booking engine, and digital marketing services. I myself have over 15 years working with small independent properties here at rezStream, going on 12 years. I've just kind of always focused on, direct booking strategies, talking about hospitality technology. It's kind of my passion. So sometimes I geek out on it a little bit. All right. So we're almost at peak season. We're coming into it for most people, especially the booking. Peak season booking is just about to start here. So this probably is more about maximizing on the traffic you already have. So a lot of people already have enough traffic. It's what you're doing with it, right? You'll see a little funnel here where you got a bunch of website traffic. Some people start browsing rooms, checking rates, start booking, and at the end, but a small amount of that traffic actually converts to a booking. So biggest places that lose website confusion, quickly being able to find the information they need, how to book, get it in front of them. Some friction. So maybe clunky or slow. I'll be covering that in this. And then, people do start a booking, don't finish it. So I'll kind of touch on some abandonment because that is an area where a lot of people can take advantage of to try to recapture that. So, okay. First thing I'm going to do is just kind of talk about website audit and specifically probably your homepage, just because I don't want to sit here and go through everything. So 5 seconds, the 5-second test. If everybody, I don't know how many people go and audit their website on a regular basis or have their friends, that's probably what I would recommend. Have someone maybe that hasn't seen your website say within 5 seconds, you know what I'm all about, why people would come and how I book. That is the key. This has been slowly ticking down. Everybody's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. I think it's the TikTok phenomenon. Everybody's used to just getting instant results, instant action, and be able to get what they need fast. So your website has one job. This isn't necessarily the truth for 100% of the time, but it's to convert traffic into reservations. So showcase, what is this place? What do I offer? Why should I stay? And how do I book? All of those things should be answered pretty much immediately. One thing I like to talk about here is guests that book, they're looking for experiences, not necessarily rooms. If you're a hotel on the side of a freeway, maybe it's the rooms. Maybe they're just looking for a nice, clean room. But most of the time, the properties that we deal with, I would imagine you guys are in a different category. So you guys have guests that are coming to stay with you to enjoy their time there and enjoy other things maybe than your room. Hopefully they're not sitting in their room all the time, but lifestyle over logistics. I'm talking about the homepage here. I'm not talking about like your room pages. Those require some room photos, but photos of just kind of an empty, nice room. Yeah, it's a nice room, but it doesn't really paint that picture. So what they should show is just kind of moments that people have, whether that's outside or inside enjoying some coffee. What does your space, what does your property provide them? And how are they going to enjoy that? So some people have fire pits. Some people have amazing views on balconies in every room. So those are the types of things that right away on your homepage you should be showcasing. Are your photos doing the selling? Keep photos current and rotate them seasonally. So some properties are open year round, some properties aren't, and that's fine. But like if you're getting into October, November, you could start throwing up some winter pictures because that's probably where people are going to be booking. You start to show summer. They want to kind of see what it's going to be like when they book. Invest in quality. So darker photos, blurry, low resolution, they kind of give off a low quality stay per se. So professional photography, this is one thing I will die on the hill for. We don't sell it, so this isn't even a pitch for anything rezStream. I personally don't think it's optional anymore. I know iPhones have great photos, they can do a lot of things. And Bob, I'm reading your question here, so maybe this is a good time to address it. Is it bad to use AI to add people? No, I don't think it's bad to use AI to add people as long as it's not changing your property, right? Like if it's your exact photo and you're just kind of using it to place a couple of people on there, I think that's fine. My point of view, anyways. There are hardcore people against AI and it's hard to really tell, but if it's your photo and it doesn't change anything about your photo, I think it's perfectly fine. So this is just a good before and after examples of some photos. So this might be something you can peek at your website and just kind of the impact of professional photography. So we've got kind of the exact same scene here and before and after. So like on the left-hand side here, you're going to see a photo of a room, right? And on the left-hand side, it's a nice room. It's kind of a rustic log cabin type room. Great fixtures, everything is cool, cozy. But you'll notice on the after picture, the lighting is much better. It's zoomed out a little bit, and now you can see the window in the background, updated photos on the walls, things like that. But it just gives you an example of what a difference it makes if you get that lighting just right. Same thing with an outdoor photo. This is where people pick a day. They're all right, I'm going to go out on the property and take a bunch of photos. And maybe it's cloudy or not that sunny and just kind of the middle of the day. But you'll notice here on the right hand side of just here's the deck and here's the chairs. And this is great. And that's awesome. It overlooks the lake. But the after photo really paints that picture of how people are going to experience that space. They're marketing assets. I would invest in them. You can use them everywhere, social media, on your website, rotate them through on your gallery. So just kind of a couple of good examples of, the same scene painted in different pictures. So, all right. The last thing here is reduce doubt and just kind of post some reviews on there. Put guest reviews right on your homepage. Real reviews, display them on there. You can link to TripAdvisor, Google if you want, and recency matters. So if you don't have a review collection strategy in place, that is one thing that you should think about this year. How are you going to communicate the fact that you want everybody to review? If you've received any awards and recognition, throw that right away on the homepage. AAA ratings, feature them right on the homepage where people get to see it right away. And then just kind of put cues in there. Join hundreds of returning guests or loyalty mentions, call outs that you've seen in reviews. So those are all just kind of social proof that people really like to know. Like, is this for real? Encourage you to do that. So booking engine entry points. And this is right after this section, I'm going to jump into kind of website to just kind of show you what I'm talking about. But I like to talk about 3 ways to get into the booking engine. And if they can't find it, you lose. So The easiest one, and every single one of you has a book now button in your menu item. That's the single strongest, most important element on your website. Every second that they're going to hunt to try to find how to book, you're going to lose them. So here's the three options. So header, book online right there, right on your header. And then we're going to talk about a booking widget above the fold. So that's just kind of sits there. And when people are ready, they can just enter some dates right there without having to like go to the booking engine in general. And then on each individual unit page, I recommend showcasing some availability or unit type. So let's just go to my fake website. Here I'm showcasing, a drone video, right? But let's talk about those booking engine entry points. So we've got that book online button right here. A sticky header is great too. You will notice here on the right, I've got it in a unique color that showcases this book online here. So it's just kind of this widget that slides out and it allows me to enter some dates here if I want. And then finally is like on a specific unit page. If I'm on a website checking out, in this particular example, cabin number 2, I can show that calendar right here, right on that page to where I can start that booking process. So again, you've got somebody on your page, they're interested in cabin number 2. Got somebody interested in that specific unit, don't make them hunt unit number 2 in this example. So those are kind of the 3 entry points. So main header, a widget, and then on the unit pages. And you can see using them all kind of together is really the best case scenario. There can never be too many options for them to book. Most guests are booking on their phone, although that trend is getting really close to maybe it's tipping over the majority. But for sure, most people are doing their research on a phone and gaining traction of people booking on there. So what do they expect? Fast load times. This is one we always say, load under 4 seconds. If your website isn't responsive, meaning it kind of displays sort of a desktop version where they may have to like pinch and zoom in on certain areas to see things, that's never a good thing. And then simple navigation. So even on a phone, let's talk about, we talked about your website, your main homepage, and now we're going to kind of move over to the booking engine. Most people use rezStream, so I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but 3 things I like to talk about here is the booking engine. Keep it simple, clarity, and reduce friction. Simple steps. Again, most people are on rezStream, so you can't have 7 steps. Booking engines kind of require you maybe to create an account first, do more things, just, review fees, too many things. Clarity wins. We just made a change to this last year. There's the whole junk fee laws that are coming into place. So if you have any fees, it has to kind of be presented before sort of the end of the reservation. So pricing transparency is big. Availability clarity, I'll talk about that. So some people, again, this is an option with rezStream to show a calendar. It may not work for everybody. I'll show you that. And then filters. So allow the guest to not have to look at each room or room type and go into the description. Allow them to filter that stuff. You shouldn't need to sign up for anything. So let's go into my booking engine. And I've got a couple of them here, but I'll just use this resort one. It is super simple. So a couple of things right off the bat is this one has a calendar. If I go over to this example, this is another one of my fake. This is a fake bed and breakfast. My other one's I own lots of different properties. This one does not have a calendar. So you have that option to show that or not show that. It does have a filter option right here. So you can say, hey, I want to book this type of unit. If I click search, this is what I mean by the filter, the clarity here. So again, we show what it is per night and the total before tax. Nightly rate 50 for 3 nights. We really explain that. And then the totals here. But here's the other filter, right? So if I click on this, it allows people to start filtering out. I need something pet. Really want something on the lake, units that aren't on the lake. I really want something with a fireplace. So you get the idea. I don't know. It seems like it's 50% of the people have packages and add-ons and 50% don't. So this is completely optional. But I will touch on that the steps here. So keep it under 5 steps is what we said. We've got 4 in this one. So in rezStream, it's either 3 or 4. So it's either with enhancements packages or you pick the unit and it goes right to the confirmation page. For both maybe clarity and too many things. So of course we have to get their information. They have to get their name, address, email, phone, credit card information. But this is an area I want to draw attention to, additional information. So I know a lot of people are unique. They have a lot of return guests. A lot of times it's a small property. You really want to know who's coming. So sometimes people ask a few too many questions here at the time of booking. I think if you're on the phone, that's okay. Here, every single field that you require them to fill out is just an opportunity for them to bail. I've seen people here have like 8 different fields. But what I always tell people is don't put those in there. Get the reservation and then call them if you really need to get that additional information. And then here's some more clarity, terms and conditions. I like to showcase this. You can do things like some are bold, underlined. So if you've really got something you want to be clear about, no pets are allowed, or this is an adults only property, or no cancellations, whatever it is you want to be really clear about to avoid any awkward conversations later, do something like this. Please read. So that's kind of the booking engine review for rezStream. And again, if you're not a rezStream customer, I apologize for that, but didn't want to necessarily pitch rezStream, but hey, a lot of people are using it, so let's go. All right, I got a question here from Rachel. You can book online and mail in a deposit, so must be the question about this. This is just I was showing this to a different customer. So what I mean by this is you still have to put in a credit card number, but your deposit policy, if you do allow checks for your deposit, it must mean that you don't require a deposit at the time of booking. It means maybe you require a deposit like within 2 weeks of making a booking. So in that true scenario, this would probably say like April 22nd. And in this scenario, rezStream implemented like the ability to surcharge customers like a percentage if they use a credit card. So this was an example of something you could do where, hey, I require a deposit. It's not due for another week. Just give me an indication if you plan on mailing a check or if you'd like to charge the card. So that was just my example, Rachel. But I appreciate the question. Bob is asking, how do you remove the filter items? I don't have rezStream pulled up, but it is in rezStream, it's in the configuration section. And then there's unit tags. They're called unit tags, I think parentheses amenities. You go in there and you can there's a toggle button. Toggle on or off whether it's a filterable item. So if you don't want that to show up, you just untoggle that option. All right. Cart abandonment. So you will never be able to change the fact that some people go and they pick their dates and they pick their unit and they put in all their information and they're so close and they just don't finish it. This is just about the fact that a lot of people don't have any sort of strategy or ways to know who's doing that. So this might be an easy win for some people, but typically between 80 and 85% of everybody that starts a booking don't finish it. It could be a number of reasons why they abandon it. Maybe it doesn't matter unless it's one of those friction points that we talked about, but maybe a fee that they didn't see earlier or their baby started crying. The goal here is to really allow them to easily come back. So not forcing them, but just gentle nudges. So one kind of notices they're about to leave. And when they do that, it kind of pops open. Hey, do you want to just save this information to come back later? No pressure. Put in your email address. So this is an example where they would get a series of a few emails. You don't have to offer discounts. In fact, the vast majority of our customers who use this tool do not offer discounts. So they do reach out to them a few times saying, hey, it's filling up fast, last chance, but they don't necessarily offer a discount, but just gentle nudges to bring them back. So putting it all together, what we're did talk about was just kind of 5 areas: clear website with great photos, good entry points into that booking engine, mobile friendly design of it, and then the friction free booking engine combined with that last step of abandonment recovery. It's going to allow you to capture more reservations from people that are already visiting your site. So you're already capturing the people on your site. It's just, how do we get one more of those people to book? If one more person books every couple of days, that ends up being a huge dollar amount. So takeaways: audit your homepage, do the 5-second test, send your homepage to a friend maybe that is not familiar with it. Just say, hey, go find information, go book, try to find something, book in July or something. Entry points into the booking engine, header, widget, individual units, streamline booking. So again, if most of you are using rezStream, it's probably about maybe allowing filters if you want. If you do ask them a bunch of questions at the end, maybe removing a few of those that you could call them afterwards. And then have a strategy for recovering the abandoned bookings. I'm not trying to necessarily sell it here, but it is a good strategy. It is a low cost option, and it just kind of works in the background. 0 effort required on your part. So, questions. Here's my information. You can just email sales@rezstream.com. This is the phone number. Feel free to reach out to me. Let's chat, and let's see if we can help you get a few more bookings this summer. So have a great rest of the day. If I don't hear from anybody before their season, have an amazing season, and go kill it this year.